What's up, Reefers? Welcome to Alex Pora Corals. This is Alex Wilson. This is another episode of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the manure series where I am adding chicken manure to my reef aquariums, and it just might kill everything. So I'm not sure. Gonna have to see how it goes. Here we go. I'm in my back patio right now. So, here we go. Alright, so here's a shot of the chicken manure that I'm using. And this brand is Hoffman. And it's just the name brand Hoffman that I got off of Amazon. And so, I could have went with, I considered just, cow manure. That was one option. But I just went with chicken manure because I was looking for the dehydrated that was in a relatively small package and it has pellets, but pelletized dehydrated chicken manure. And so yeah, it works pretty good. There it is. Definitely smells a lot. That's why I have it in this container, and that's why I have it in the back patio right here. But it's definitely the right size for, I use even like just a 1/4 of a teaspoon, or even the smaller teaspoon sizes that I have for that. So yeah, that seems to work pretty good for that. And so I have it back here, and this is just a shot of my RO line right here coming into my brute trash can. And I just have a typical float valve right there. I mix up my salt water. I have my little pole there to mix it up, ready to go. And the next coming, eventually I want to put in an RO line connected straight through, to the automatic top off. So I don't know when I'll get that done, but that's one of the things I have planned to do. And so one of the things, okay, on the manure is a dehydrated, and it is in fact built into what they call 3 parts, like they advertise on the front of the packaging. And this is 4 parts of nitrogen to 3 parts phosphate to 2 parts potassium. Yeah, so these are the 3 basic nutrients that are found on all manures like that, where they put on there all fertilizers, where they have the first part, the second part, and the third part. The first part is nitrate, second part is phosphate, third part is potassium. So on this manure right here, it's 4 parts nitrate to 3 parts phosphate to 2 parts potassium. And so that's far I've added in, it's been a week. This is a weekly update since I started adding it. And I've tested my nitrates and phosphates already. And I tested my nitrate, and it's still at about 6 and 7. And the phosphates have gone all the way up to 33 parts per million on the phosphates, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. And I'm going to keep adding the same amount of manure daily and see what that does. I hope it doesn't go all the way up to 0.6 or 0.9, 1 parts per million phosphate or something like that. So I'm kind of hoping that doesn't go too far. I'm going to try to, I might test it midweek, see where it's at, Here's a shot of the main display. Definitely a little cloudy at this point. However, that's not entirely unusual, being the fact I have so many browns in here. So, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. So hopefully it doesn't. It also could be that everything is just going to be completely dead. Well, or just completely get the cloudy situation getting completely out of control. So I'll be keeping an eye on it. Who knows? But hopefully everything is still alive so far. So keep an eye on that cloudiness. LES corals hanging out. The other tank's looking okay. So same thing. That Goniopora right there was died, but it was it hasn't been open for for probably a month anyway before I started adding the manure. So that guy went ahead and died on me. Clamp's doing okay today. So let's go ahead and check out the quarantine aquarium. And see one thing, sorry if you see, look at both of them, but see the main display right here is not only is it a little cloudy compared to the quarantine, you know, and it has a lot more of the browns going crazy in here, but it's actually the exact same water parameters thus far. I mean, they're both at like 6 parts per million nitrate, and they're also at 0.33 right now of the phosphate. And so the main display looks cloudy, brown algae everywhere, and yet the quarantine aquarium doesn't. It looks clear and much better, and the only real difference is it might have a little bit less light, but it's just the fact that it has so much more corals going on that it's completely clear and looking great. So the main difference is I think it's just hitting that key where you want to get at least 70% of the rock surface covered with corals or coralline algae. So yeah, I think that one's definitely hitting it there. And I also ordered the so I'm curious to see, because the manure has the potassium on there, right? So that's one of the key nutrients that I think we should probably be keeping track of, you know, in reef aquariums. So what I'm gonna do, I ordered I wish there was a HANA digital checker for it, but as of yet there's not. So if you're HANA, yeah, get that going. I'm sure that you can sell lots of those. But the one that's been available, that's been on the market for years and years, is the Salifert. So I ordered one of those, the Salifert potassium test kit. So I'm gonna test my potassium, see where it's at. As I understand it, it should be about 400 parts per million potassium, and you can go as high as 450, I believe. That Chris McNandy mentioned at ACI Aquaculture when I was watching Reef. So yeah, I'll try that and see what's going on with the potassium. Anyway, as you can see here, the Discosoma's here. Discosoma garden's looking pretty good. Got the blue Discosoma, the red. That whole thing this is a shot. That's a clam right there. That mysterious clam that I just bought the rock as mushroom rock, and the whole thing ended up just being one huge clam, and that's the opening of it, and goes all the way around. So he's still alive, surprisingly. And yeah, everything else looking pretty good here. The bubbles are the hammer and the micromusa, frog spawn, and I moved the Porites and the Christmas tree worm rock. So I moved it over here, facing the front right here, and yeah, and so it looks pretty good like this. I can get a good shot of it right here, really close against the glass, looking at all the feather dusters and the Porites. And the Porites is a shade of brown, but it has hints of green in the areas that are receiving the most light, right? And he had bubble algae that was kind of hitting it too much on the sides and on the top here, and it receded a little bit around where it was. The Porites receded a little bit. It was getting a little too much bubble algae on them. But other than that, it's still good. I have the green slimer. He's still got good polyp extension, and he still got good colors in here. So I got my fingers crossed on him, on this guy. And you can see in the back right here all of the coralline algae, spots of it, pink ones here and there that are starting to get established. as well as on the crushed coral right there. So I'm hoping that'll take over not only in this aquarium, but in the main display aquarium. And so the clams here, I got them glued on there, and they're much better, much calmer. They seem to be able to stay in their spots much better. So good so far there. And I moved these goniopores around a little bit, and they're really starting to bounce back. I did lose the other, I had the yellow and gray one, so I'm gonna have to order another one of those next time around. But in this, I think I just added too much of the reef rods and the benefits, and so now I'm just gone back down just to the recommended dosage value and just go with that. But anyway, now they're coming back. I have the green one to the left, the main one here in the middle, and then I have the purple and green one to the right, and I have another same green one in the back. It's the same. And so I have my fingers crossed right here. There's a red one too. You know, see, it's barely starting to come back a little bit, so I'm hoping that it'll start opening up. And I also have the one in the back too, so I don't know if that one's gonna make it or not. Got my fingers crossed on that one too. And yeah, same thing. The mushrooms in the back. There's got three or four that are recovering, and the rest of them are still bleached out white. Well, from overexposure or too much light. So hopefully they'll recover there. But other than that, it's looking good. So let's see here. Sorry about that. I got it going on the there we go. I'm changing the exposure. There we go. So the meat's doing good. Heliofungus looking as crazy as ever. Like it's gonna eat my hand if I stick it in there. Yeah, mushrooms on that. This is the rhodactis side. Purple rhodactis. No, orange rhodactis. And I got some of the different fuzzy mushrooms right here. Those guys are looking okay. Alright guys, and I got take a look at the Australian live rock. It's still doing the same thing. I'm starting to get a little bit of the browns and greens algae on them right here, and I tested the alkalinity on it again, and it's still up there at 12.5 or something. So it's just that way, just from the die off or whatever. I haven't done any water changes or anything at all. Just topped up the water. So yeah, I'm just going to give it the full 2.5 weeks, and hopefully I'll get that in the main display and everything, and that'll help it to really take off right. Alright guys, so I guess that's it for this update. Happy reefing, and look for the next update on the manure reefing, and hopefully it won't kill anything. Hopefully everything won't be dead. Alright guys, bye.